Chapter 1. Arrival at Blackthorn. The rain hammered against the car windshield as Sarah and Daniel approached the looming silhouette of Blackthorn Manor. Nestled deep in the English countryside, the mansion stood like a forgotten relic of another time. Lightning flashed, momentarily illuminating the stone gargoyles perched along the roof. "Are you sure about this?" Sarah asked, her voice barely above a whisper. Daniel gripped the wheel tighter. "It's just for a weekend. We'll catalogue the estate, take some photos and be out by Monday." But Sarah couldn't shake the uneasy feeling creeping up her spine. As they pulled up the winding driveway, the gates closed behind them with a hollow clang. Chapter 2. The locked room inside. The manor smelled of damp wood and decay. Dust motes danced in the flickering candlelight. The caretaker, an elderly man named Edgar, met them at the door. "Stay out of the west wing," he said bluntly. "Some doors should remain closed." Sarah exchanged a nervous glance with Daniel, but they nodded. Later that night, as the wind howled outside, Sarah explored the halls. The walls were adorned with faded portraits of the Blackthorn family, their expressions stern, their eyes following her every move. A sudden creak made her turn. The door to the west wing stood ajar. Against her better judgment, Sarah stepped inside. Chapter 3. Echoes of the Past. The room was cold, far colder than the rest of the house. An old four-poster bed sat in the centre, its canopy torn and rotting. Scattered around the room were children's toys, broken dolls, stuffed animals with missing eyes. Sarah knelt to pick up a porcelain doll when she heard it, a faint laugh. She froze. The sound came again, clearer this time, a child's giggle echoing off the walls. "Hello?" she whispered. No answer, but the doll in her hands felt heavier now, as though something unseen gripped it too. Chapter 4. The Mirror's Secret. Daniel burst into the room moments later, startling Sarah. "I heard you scream. Are you okay?" Sarah nodded shakily. "I think this place is haunted." Daniel tried to laugh it off, but his face paled when he saw the mirror in the corner. Its glass rippled like water, distorting their reflections. Suddenly, the reflection of the bed showed a woman sitting there, her pale face streaked with tears. Sarah turned to look at the bed, but it was empty. Chapter 5. Trapped over the next 2 days, the disturbances grew worse. Doors slammed shut on their own, whispers echoed through the halls, and shadows moved in the corners of their vision. On the final night, Sarah awoke to find Daniel missing. She searched the manor frantically, calling his name. At last, she found him in the west wing, standing before the mirror. "Daniel?" she called softly. He didn't respond. Instead, he raised a hand and touched the glass. To her horror, his reflection did not move. The glass rippled, and Daniel was pulled inside. Chapter 6. Breaking the Curse. Sarah screamed and pounded on the mirror, but it was no use. Desperation drove her to search the room, and she discovered an old diary under the bed. It belonged to Eleanor Blackthorn, the last resident of the manor. She wrote of a curse placed upon the family for betraying a servant accused of witchcraft. "The mirror," Eleanor wrote, "was the prison for their souls." Sarah knew she had to destroy it. With trembling hands, she grabbed a candlestick and smashed the glass. The mirror shattered, and an ear-piercing wail filled the room. Daniel collapsed to the floor, gasping for air. Epilogue. The manor sleeps. By morning, the storm had passed. They packed their things and left Blackthorn Manor without looking back. But as they drove away, Sarah couldn't shake the feeling that something watched them from the windows. And back inside the shattered mirror, faint whispers began again. The manor was not done claiming souls.